guys having a good day. So, one thing I like to do, and this is how my mind works, is that I always think about specific actors and actresses and like what's the first role that pops up in my head, right? And I've done this on other platforms, and I want to do it on here, make it like a bigger thing of doing. I usually do like two or three actors and actresses, but I'm gonna probably do five in this video. Um, there's so many good actors and actresses, and sometimes they'll go to a specific role, or I mean, a specific TV role or a specific movie that they've been in. For me, I recently did. This is just an example. I recently did Matthew McConaughey, right? And the first thing that pops in my brain is um, The Wedding Planner with him and Jennifer Lopez. Those are the two that pop up. Those are the that one movie in particular just pops up in my head because I believe that's the first thing I ever seen Matthew McConaughey in when I was younger. The next thing I see Matthew McConaughey, this is when I was starting to get into movies, is Dazed and Confused. So that's how that works in my brain. Same thing. Here's another example. Cheryl Lee Ralph. I love her. I love what she's doing in Abbott Elementary, and for me, the first role in my mind, because I'm a '90s child, is Moesha. Okay, knowing the fact she's been in so many movies, so like she's iconic, right? And that's the first role that pops in my mind because I love Moesha. It's one of my favorite shows. When I started watching it when I got a little bit older and started watching all the seasons and stuff like that. But that's how it works. But we're going to go through five actors and actresses and talk about the first role that pops up in my brain. First person we're going to start with is Tom Hanks. I love Tom Hanks. He's a phenomenal actor, and you would think the first thing that will pop in my brain would be Forrest Gump. It's not. It's not the first role. That's like the second role I think of. The first role I think of is Big. Big is such a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's about a kid that wishes to be adult basically, and he actually happens. It's just an amazing movie. I put it on anytime I feel like out of sorts or just sad or whatever, and I put it on and it makes me happy. So one of my favorite scenes in that movie is the piano scene. I love the piano scene. It's so good. I love that scene. The second person we're going to talk about is Robin Williams. Uh, Robin Williams, rest in peace, is I always think about him because he he's imprinted in my brain because of Mrs. Doubtfire. Um, that's one of my favorite movies besides Jumanji. But Robin Williams, I love all his movies. I've seen all of his movies, and the one that pops in my brain is Mrs. Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubtfire is one of those movies that is funny. You can sit there, watch it, laugh the whole time. One of my favorite scenes, and I probably y'all favorite scene probably is the scene that he sticks his face into the pie. It's just that movie just it's just funny. Every time I think about it, I want to crack up. It's just that movie's so good, especially the scene that the we're trying to figure out what he's actually going to look like. And I love that scene when they were looking in the mirror and they were seeing. That's like one of my favorite scenes. Also, the next person we're going to talk about is Regina King. Uh, Regina King, first film I ever seen her in, and I probably was not supposed to watch it. I actually see. I have an older sister, um, and she was watching all of like the first one I'm gonna talk about is Friday. That's the first time I ever seen Regina King. Friday is up there when it comes to classic movies, classic comedy movies, and Regina King is such. She's also a really good director, and every I've seen probably almost everything she's been in, and either Friday or Boondocks. Okay, because she voices characters in Boondocks, and she's so good in that. But even Poetic Justice, that is such a really good movie in itself, also. But she's an amazing actress and, like I said, amazing director. Now the next person we're going to talk about is she's been imprinted in my mind as as a child, and I my mother is a big fan of hers, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of hers is Lucille Ball. Now we all know I love Lucy, but when it comes to movies, for me, if you have not seen this movie, you should watch it. It's called Long Long Trailer. Long Long Trailer is about a couple, they get married, and instead of just going on a plain old vacation, they decided to get a trailer, like an RV. And they travel with the RV. That movie is funny. It's also with the guy, her husband at the time. And it's such a really good, funny movie. One of my favorite scenes in that movie is when he's trying to drive it. He's going up a hill. And that scene in itself was so funny in itself. It's really good. You for me, I love comedy movies, and that movie in itself is just funny. Just what? Just Lucille Ball was one of those people that can make anything funny. When it came to I Love Lucy, we've seen I Love Lucy. One of the iconic scenes is her and Ethel, making the chocolate, and they're doing this and stuff. It's just such a really good, like, she can make anything funny. She can make it, she could just talk to you and probably just make that funny. You know what I'm saying? I've seen interviews with old interviews with her. I've seen documentaries and stuff like that. So I know quite a bit about her movies and the TV shows that she's been in. And so just so good. The next person and the last person we're going to talk about is Denzel Washington. I love Denzel Washington. I've seen so many things with Denzel Washington. One of my favorite things with Denzel Washington is Remember the Titans. That's the first thing that pops up in my brain when I think of Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is one of those actors that I feel like you could sit down and have a whole conversation with, and because I love learning when I watch a movie or watch interviews. I'm sitting here just soaking it in. That's what I do when I listen to actors and actresses. Denzel Washington, I feel like you could just sit there and he could just teach you something. He could teach you over the whole years of his career and what he has done with all the movies that he's done. You can learn something from him. You can learn, how he does this and how he does that. Besides Remember the Titans, you got American Gangster, you got A Training Day, you got all of these movies that he is so iconic in, and you could just sit there, I feel, and just like, oh, can I ask you this? can I ask you, you know, what I would just love to ask him what's his favorite movie? Like what is your favorite movie? What makes you um do you know what do you put in each character? Is there a process that you put in each character? Like those are the questions that I want to ask him, because there's other actors and actresses that I also want to sit down. That's the goal, y'all, is to sit down with these actors and actresses and have conversations with them and have a good conversation with them, which I know I will learn something from and other people would learn something from. First of all, we call him Denzel. To my understanding, it's Denzel or something like that. uh, when I heard that, I was like, what? I just feel like he's just one of those actors that you could have like a really good, funny conversation with. I really do think that. Um, but I'm gonna do this more often because I love talking about actors and actresses. I love um, thinking about what's the first role I've ever seen them in, and this so and so. That's where my mind goes because there's so many actors and actresses that have so so many things that you can learn from what they put in their process of whatever character they're doing. Okay, because I have my favorites. I have like my absolutely favorites. And because for years, knowing the fact I'm only 33, but for years I just sit there and be in of awe of actors because I love what they do. Same thing when it comes to directing and writing. I love the people that write and direct movies. And Denzel Washington also is a really good director. Okay? And I love the fact when actors get into that change of, oh, I'm going to act now. I'm going to do those type of things because I feel like, okay, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could direct. Maybe I can do, I've been an actor, I've learned maybe I should, direct my own, like do a TV show or do a movie. Same thing goes for Regina King. She like I said, she's a really good director. I love the fact that she went into, oh, I'm directing. I want to direct, and I love that when I see other you see actors going to making that change of I'm going to direct or I'm going to write. So I love those things. But if you guys are not uh, subscribed to my channel, go and subscribe. On here I talk about multiple things. I talk about TV shows, I talk about actors, I talk about superheroes. I just like having fun over here and just talking about the things that I love, and I hope everyone is having a good day.